on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about current news and events in Norway, since here in America, we really do not get shown any Norwegian news. I like to take some time every week to see what's going on in Norway's news right now that I otherwise would never know about. I'd never get to hear about it. So I like to go out of my way to learn a little bit about Norway and the news. And today we have some headlines, including ex-Wagner commander arrested in Norway for attempting return to Russia. Wow. What exactly does this mean? Yeah, I have not heard about this. Ex-Wagner commander is arrested in Norway for attempting to return to Russia. Norwegian police have arrested a former commander of the Wagner mercenary group. So the Wagner mercenary group, that must be a Russian mercenary group? And there's a Russian mercenary group commander in Norway that was trying to go back to Russia. Okay, I think I understand. On suspicion that he tried to illegally cross the border back into Russia after seeking asylum in Norway earlier this year. Wow. Okay, so this guy, oh, is this him? This guy, this is a Russian mercenary commander who came to Norway for asylum, and Norway took him in and was like, okay, you can stay here to get away from Russia. But he tried to get back. He tried to go back to Russia. Wow. And Norway has arrested him. Wow. What? So, man. So he wanted to go back to Russia. It's weird that he was part of a mercenary group. That's pretty extreme. Did he present himself as an ally? Like he was going to help everyone fight against Russia? And that he needed to be asylumed in Norway? And Norway was like, okay, if you're defecting from Russia, we'll help you. And then he kind of betrayed that trust by trying to go back to Russia. Oh, wow. See, this is so interesting because here in the United States, we are so far away from the whole conflict, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and Norway is so close. I mean, there's literally Russians. I didn't know this. There's Russians who seek asylum in Norway. That's how close they are. And that's a really different point of view than we get in America. The war and the conflict is so far away for us that I think it's actually good for me to hear about these kinds of stories and how Norway views this. Norwegian police arrested a former commander of the Wagner mercenary group. On suspicion, he tried to cross back over the border into Russia after seeking asylum in Norway. Andrei Medvedev, who escaped Russia in January via its Arctic border with Norway. I didn't realize, Norway has a very, very small border with Russia. That's amazing. I didn't even really appreciate that fact. Honestly, wow. Has described running as Russian guards fired shots at him. He's spoken about his time fighting in Ukraine as part of the Wagner Group. Police said in a statement Friday that a man in his 20s had been taken into custody for attempting to illegally cross the Russian border? Wow, he tried to cross the border. That's so risky. He must have known that he could very well get caught. And that's super suspicious. That's so suspicious to be going back into Russia after claiming you escaped. And an officer with the Finnmark local police declined to give the man's identity. Crossing the border to Russia is only allowed at designated points. But Medvedev's arrest was due to a misunderstanding? Oh, so it is legal? It is possible. He just did it at a part of the border that it's illegal? He was up there to see if he could find a place find the place where he crossed into Norway last January. He was stopped when he was in his taxi. He was never near the border. It was never his intention to cross the border. Oh, so they're still trying to decide if he's guilty or not. Wow. When he arrived in Norway, Medvedev said he was seeking asylum because he feared for his life after witnessing the killing and mistreatment of Russian prisoners brought to the front line in Ukraine. Oh, see, he was a Russian brought to Ukraine. He was afraid of how the Russian prisoners were being treated, so he fled the battle, fled Ukraine, and just said, I'm not going to be a part of this, I'm going to go to Norway. Wow. His escape in January made headlines around the world. I had not heard about this. I wonder if it made headlines in the United States. As this was a rare example at the time of someone defecting to a Western country while claiming to have fought for Russia. But in May, he said in a YouTube video, he posted a YouTube video, that'd be interesting to watch, that he wanted to return to Russia, even though he believed this could pose a risk to his life. Describing himself as some kind of boy in a big game he no longer wanted to be part of. It's kind of sad because I do hear about some of the Russians who don't support the war and don't support what Russia is doing, and maybe this guy is just caught up in something that's way bigger than him and he's scared, and I don't know what to think. And his family is back home in Russia, and so he was brought to the war, he ran to Norway, now he just wants to go home and forget about this whole thing. I don't know. That's like the best case scenario, I guess. Medvedev has the right to return to Russia if he wants to, but a lot of changes need to happen to make that a safe return. In April, he was convicted of involvement in Norway of a bar fight and of carrying an air gun, and was acquitted of committing violence against the police. He said he was looking to the future and hoped for asylum. Was he ever planning on staying in Norway? And also, while he was in Norway, he got in a fight and got into a run-in with the Norwegian police, which is not a good look. And now he's maybe trying to illegally cross the border back into Russia. I don't know if this guy just has a bunch of problems or if he really is someone that's breaking the law and doing something like dastardly and mischievous. I don't know what to think. But this is a fascinating story. That's a really interesting story. I didn't know anything about that. Wow, Russian defector went to Ukraine, fled to Norway, now trying to go back to Russia. Wow, see, this kind of humanizes the Russian-Ukraine conflict and also shows me how intimately involved Norway is in it. Norway is right there in it. And very physically close. That's very interesting. Coming from me, an American, since we're so far away. This kind of opened my eyes up a little bit. Wow. Okay. The New York Times, an ancient arrow is among artifacts to emerge from Norway's melting ice. Okay, this is kind of cool. This is a little more wholesome. There's an arrow. So there was an arrow discovered in Norway? Like an ancient artifact? As the Earth warms, archaeologists are in a race against time to preserve objects before they are destroyed. And recent fieldwork has yielded an intact 3,000-year-old arrow. Wow. Hey, there it is! Wow, that really is intact. I can't believe stuff can just sit around for 3,000 years, and then we discover it, and then some American guy on the internet talks about it, and, it comes full circle. Wow. A wooden arrow, 3,000 years old, in unusually fine condition. That really is in really good condition. I'm shocked. It looks like new. What? Espen Finstad was trudging through the mud in the Jotunheim Mountains of eastern Norway this month when he happened upon a wooden arrow, bound with a pointed tip made of quartzite, complete with feathers. Man, people are just... a few weeks ago in the Norwegian news, I heard about a Norwegian man discovering all these gold coins with a metal detector. And now this archaeologist has discovered this arrow. They're just discovering all these amazing things in Norway right now, huh? This is amazing. It is so well preserved, it looks like it could have been lost recently. Wow, it's estimated 3,000 years old. I was really excited, he said. I've never seen something like this before. It was so complete. Wow, they believe it belonged to a reindeer hunter in the late Stone Age or early Bronze Age. It is among thousands of artifacts and remains that have emerged from melting ice. Ah, so some of the colder parts of Norway, probably in the north, and glaciers are melting because of climate change and warming temperatures. And Norwegian archaeologists are kind of clamoring and in a hurry to preserve everything that's, well, I guess it's it's bad that things are that the temperature's changing, but it's kind of fun that all these artifacts are being revealed, but it's also a bad thing. So I don't know what to think about that, actually. Okay. CNN. CNN has an article about the Russian commander trying to escape Norway into Russia. Okay, there's some American coverage on that. That actually is a pretty big story, I guess. Wow. We also have a horse's brindle recovered from Norway's glacial ice. A horse's brindle. There it is. I don't know what a brindle is, but there it is. Wow, so there's a lot of articles on Norwegian artifacts being discovered. Very cool. Very good time to be alive if you're a history fan in Norway. Science Norway reports a metal horse's bit and pieces of a leather bridle have been found near the Lendbreen Pass on Galdhøpiggen, Norway's tallest mountain. Norway's tallest mountain. I've never heard about this. Hold on. Galdhøpiggen, highest mountain, 2,500 meters tall. Wow. Okay. This mountain pass, the shape of the bridle suggests it dates to Viking age. A Viking horse's bridle artifact. We have never made such a discovery. Wow, it essentially completes the picture of this ancient travel route. They were traveling over the tallest mountain in Norway thousands of years ago on horseback. It's amazing. Like, I'm not the biggest history buff ever, but even this kind of stuff is pretty amazing to me. Pretty amazing. There's another article about the Wagner commander arrested, the Russian in Norway. Wow, that's a huge story, huh? That's a huge story. There's also an article about the wealthiest people in Norway, updated to September 26, 2023. Okay. Who are the wealthiest people in Norway? Ivar Tolfsen is the wealthiest person in Norway. Estimated net worth of $7.6 billion US dollars. Who is Ivar Tolfsen? What did he... Okay, there he is. Norwegian businessman. What did he... He's the founder of Tolfsen Enterprises. Okay, like real estate investor. Started his first company at 14. Wow. Man, started his first company at 14. Respect. And now he's a billionaire. I've never heard of him. That's amazing how some of the biggest, most influential, most wealthy people in Norway, I still have never heard of, just because I'm here in America. So it's cool to actually learn about these people. Next would be Andreas Halvorsen, is the second richest Norwegian. Runs a hedge fund, Viking Global Investors. That's not super interesting. He owns a hedge fund. Okay, investing stuff, cool. And Jell Inge Rook, $4.8 billion net worth. My God. Oh, this guy just looks rich. Maybe it's his suit. He owns 67% of Aker, a shipping and offshore drilling conglomerate. Oh, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all that he is a rich Norwegian because of drilling, like oil. That makes sense. Wow. Yeah, it's kind of fun to just hear about some of the Norwegian billionaires and rich people. We seem to idolize these people in the United States, so obviously, like, there is some amount of respect I definitely have for them, even though they are super rich, because they've obviously accomplished a lot. And it's cool to learn about what they do. I like learning about what rich, successful people do for a living and what company they've made, so I kind of enjoyed looking them up. And yeah, I think there you have it for today. That's all the sort of up-to-date Norwegian news and events that I wanted to take a look at. Some pretty interesting stuff. I think the biggest headline by far this week is about this ex-Wagner commander, this Russian who was living in Norway and tried to escape back to Russia. I can't tell if this story is really like sad and traumatic. If I should feel sad for this guy trying to get back home and not be a part of the war, or if he's up to something bad and mischievous and breaking the law. I can't quite tell. But it was interesting learning about it and Norway's role in all of this. That's always really fun to learn about. So I enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and Norwegian culture and stuff in Norway I've never seen or learned about, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.